This video is for educational purposes. Kathmandu is the capital and most populous city of Nepal with 845,767 inhabitants living in 105,649 households as of the 2021 Nepal census and 2.9 million people in its urban agglomeration. It is located in the Kathmandu Valley, a large valley in the high plateaus in central Nepal, at an altitude of 1,400 meters, 4,600 feet. The city is one of the oldest continuously inhabited places in the world, founded in the 2nd century AD. The valley was historically called the Nepal Mandala, and has been the home of the Newar people, a cosmopolitan urban civilization in the Himalayan foothills. The city was the royal capital of the Kingdom of Nepal and hosts palaces, mansions and gardens built by the Nepali aristocracy. It has been home to the headquarters of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, since 1985. Today, it is the seat of government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal, established in 2008, and is part of Bagmati province. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. Kathmandu is and has been for many years the center of Nepal's history, art, culture, and economy. It has a multi-ethnic population within a Hindu and Buddhist majority. Religious and cultural festivities form a major part of the lives of people residing in Kathmandu. Tourism is an important part of the economy in the city. In 2013, Kathmandu was ranked 3rd among the top 10 upcoming travel destinations in the world by TripAdvisor, and ranked 1st in Asia. The city is considered the gateway to the Nepal Himalayas and is home to several World Heritage Sites, the Durbar Square, Swayambhu Mahachedya, Buddha, and Pashupatinath. Kathmandu Valley is growing at 4% per year according to the World Bank in 2010, making it one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in South Asia, and the first region in Nepal to face the unprecedented challenges of rapid urbanization and modernization at a metropolitan scale. It is the largest metropolitan area located in the Himalayas. The indigenous Nepal Bhasa term for Kathmandu is Yen. The Nepali name Kathmandu comes from Kasthamandap, which stood in Kathmandu Durbar Square, was completely destroyed by the earthquake of April 2015, but has since been reconstructed. In Sanskrit, Sanskrit, Gasht, means wood and Mappa, Sanskrit, Mandap, means pavilion. This public pavilion, also known as Maru Sada in Newari, was rebuilt in 1596 by Baiseth in the period of King Lakshmi Narsingh Malla. The 3-story structure was made entirely of wood and used no iron nails nor supports. According to legends, all the timber used to build the pagoda was obtained from a single tree. The colophons of ancient manuscripts, dated as late as the 20th century, refer to Kathmandu as Kamap Mahanagar in Nepal Mandala. Mahanagar means great city. The city is called Kamap in a vow that Buddhist priests still recite to this day. Thus, Kathmandu is also known as Kamap. During medieval times, the city was sometimes called Kantipur, Sanskrit, Kantipur. This name is derived from 2 Sanskrit words, Kanti and Pur. Kanti is a word that stands for beauty and is mostly associated with light, and Pur means place, thus giving it the meaning, city of light. Among the indigenous Newar people, Kathmandu is known as Yide, Newar, Yende, and Patan and Bhaktapur are known as Yala De, Newar, Yelde, and Quopa De, Newar, Quub De, respectively. Yen is the shorter form of Yambu, Newar, Yumbi, which originally referred to the northern half of Kathmandu. The older northern settlements were referred to as Yambi while the southern settlement was known as Yengala. The spelling Kathmandu was often used in older English language text. More recently, however, the spelling Kathmandu has become more common in English. Archaeological excavations in parts of Kathmandu have found evidence of ancient civilizations. The oldest of these findings is a statue, found in Malagan, that was dated at 185 AD. The excavation of Dando Chidya uncovered a brick with an inscription in Brahmi script. Archaeologists believe that it is 2,000 years old. Stone inscriptions are ubiquitous elements at the heritage sites and are key sources for the history of Nepal. The earliest Western reference to Kathmandu appears in an account of Portuguese Jesuit Father João Cabral, who passed through the Kathmandu Valley in the spring of 1628 and was received graciously by the king of that time, probably King Lakshminarasinghe Malla of Kathmandu, on their way from Tibet to India. Father Cabral reported that they reached Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal Kingdom. The ancient history of Kathmandu is described in its traditional myths and legends. According to the Swayambhu Purana, present-day Kathmandu was once a huge and deep lake named Nagdaha, as it was full of snakes. The lake was drained by Bodhisattva Manjushri with his sword, and the water was evacuated out from there. He then established a city called Manjapatan, and made Dharmakar the ruler of the valley land. After some time, a demon named Banasura closed the outlet, and the valley again turned into a lake. Krishna came to Nepal, killed Banasura, and again drained out the water by cutting the edge of Chobhar hill with the Sudarshana chakra. He brought some cowherds along with him and made Bhaktaman the king of Nepal. Kodarudra Samhita of Shiva Purana, chapter 11, shloka 18 refers to the place as Nyapala city, which was famous for its Pashupati Shivalinga. The name Nepal probably originates from this city Nyapala. Very few historical records exist of the period before medieval Lichhavi rulers. According to Gopalraj Vansawali, a genealogy of Nepali monarchy, the rulers of Kathmandu Valley before the Lichhavis were Gopalas, Mahispalas, Abhirs, Karatas, and Somavanshi. The Karata dynasty was established by Yalambar. During the Karata era, a settlement called Yambu existed in the northern half of Old Kathmandu. In some of the Sino-Tibetan languages, Kathmandu is still called Yambu. Another smaller settlement called Yengal was present in the southern half of Old Kathmandu, near Manjapatan. During the reign of the 7th Karata ruler, Jatadasti, Buddhist monks entered Kathmandu Valley and established a forest monastery at Sanku. The Lichhavis from the Indo-Gangetic plain migrated north and defeated the Karats, establishing the Lichhavi dynasty, circa 400 AD. During this era, following the genocide of Sakyas in Lumbini by Varudika, the survivors migrated north and entered the forest monastery Lora masquerading as Kaliyas. From Sanku, they migrated to Yambu and Yengal, Lanjagwal and Manjapatan, and established the first permanent Buddhist monasteries of Kathmandu. This created the basis of Newar Buddhism, which is the only surviving Sanskrit-based Buddhist tradition in the world. With their migration, Yambu was called Kalagram and Yengal was called Dakshin Kalagram during most of the Lichhavi era. Eventually, the Lichhavi ruler Ganakamadeva merged Kalagram and Dakshin Kalagram, founding the city of Kathmandu. The city was designed in the shape of Chandrarasa, the sword of Manjushri. The city was surrounded by 8 barracks guarded by ajimas. One of these barracks is still in use at Bhadrakali, in front of Singha Durbar. The city served as an important transit point in the trade between India and Tibet, leading to tremendous growth in architecture. Descriptions of buildings such as Managriha, Kailaskat Bhawan, and Bhadradiwas Bhawan have been found in the surviving journals of travelers and monks who lived during this era. For example, the famous 7th century Chinese traveler Xuanzang described Kailaskat Bhawan, the palace of the Lichhavi king Amshavarma. The trade route also led to cultural exchange as well. The artistry of the Newar people, the indigenous inhabitants of the Kathmandu Valley, became highly sought after during this era, both within the valley and throughout the greater Himalayas. Newar artists traveled extensively throughout Asia, creating religious art for their neighbors. For example, Araniko led a group of his compatriot artists through Tibet and China. Brakuti, the princess of Nepal who married Tibetan monarch Songtsen Gampo, was instrumental in introducing Buddhism to Tibet. The Lichhavi era was followed by the Malla era. Rulers from Tirhut, upon being attacked by the Delhi Sultanate, fled north to the Kathmandu Valley. They intermarried with Nepali royalty, and this led to the Malla era. The early years of the Malla era were turbulent, with raids and attacks from Khaz and Turk Muslims. There was also a devastating earthquake which claimed the lives of a third of Kathmandu's population, including the king Abya Malla. These disasters led to the destruction of most of the architecture of the Lichhavi era, such as Mangriha and Kailashkut Bhawan, and the loss of literature collected in various monasteries within the city. Despite the initial hardships, Kathmandu rose to prominence again and, during most of the Malla era, dominated the trade between India and Tibet. Nepali currency became the standard currency in trans-Himalayan trade. During the later part of the Malla era, Kathmandu Valley comprised 4 fortified cities: Kantapur, Lalitpur, Bhaktapur, and Kirtipur. These served as the capitals of the Malla Confederation of Nepal. These states competed with each other in the arts, architecture, aesthetics, and trade, resulting in tremendous development. The kings of this period directly influenced or involved themselves in the construction of public buildings, squares, and temples, as well as the development of waterspouts, the institutionalization of trusts, called gutthis, the codification of laws, the writing of dramas, and the performance of plays in city squares. Evidence of an influx of ideas from India, Tibet, China, Persia, and Europe among other places can be found in a stone inscription from the time of King Pratap Malla. Books have been found from this era that describe their tantric tradition, Tantrakian, medicine, Haramekala, religion, Muldevshashashadev, law, morals, and history. Amarkash, a Sanskrit Nepal Bhasa dictionary from 1381, was also found. Architecturally notable buildings from this era include Kathmandu Durbar Square, Patan Durbar Square, Bhaktapur Durbar Square, the former Durbar of Kirtipur, Nyatapala, Kumheshwar, the Krishna Temple, and others. The Gorkha kingdom ended the Malla Confederation after the Battle of Kathmandu in 1768. This marked the beginning of the modern era in Kathmandu. The Battle of Kirtipur was the start of the Gorkha conquest of the Kathmandu Valley. Kathmandu was adopted as the capital of the Gorkha Empire, and the empire itself was dubbed Nepal. During the early part of this era, Kathmandu maintained its distinctive culture. Buildings with characteristic Nepali architecture, such as the 9-story Tower of Basantapur, were built during this era. However, trade declined because of continual war with neighboring nations. Bhimsen Thapa supported France against Great Britain. This led to the development of modern military structures, such as modern barracks in Kathmandu. The 9-story Tower Darahara was originally built during this era. Rana rule over Nepal started with the Kot massacre of 1846, which occurred near Hanuman Dhoka Durbar. During this massacre, most of Nepal's high-ranking officials were massacred by Yung Bahadur Rana and his supporters. Another massacre, the Bandarkal massacre, was also conducted by Kunwar and his supporters in Kathmandu. During the Rana regime, Kathmandu's alliance shifted from anti-British to pro-British. This led to the construction of the first buildings in the style of Western European architecture. The most well-known of these buildings include Singha Durbar, Garden of Dreams, Shitol Niwas, and the old Narayanhidi Palace. The first modern commercial road in the Kathmandu Valley, the New Road, was also built during this era. Trichandra College, the first college of Nepal, Durbar High School, the first modern school of Nepal, and Burr Hospital, the first hospital of Nepal, were built in Kathmandu during this era. Education was only accessible to the privileged class. Rana rule was marked by despotism, economic exploitation, and religious persecution. Kathmandu is in the northwestern part of the Kathmandu Valley to the north of the Bagmati River and covers an area of 50.7 square kilometers, 19.6 square miles. The average elevation is 1,400 meters, 4,600 feet, above sea level. The city is bounded by several other municipalities of the Kathmandu Valley, south of the Bagmati by Lalitpur Metropolitan City, Patan, with which it forms one urban area surrounded by a ring road, to the southwest by Kirtipur and to the east by Madhyapur Thimi. To the north the urban area extends into several municipalities, Nagarjun, Tarakshwar, Toka, Budinalkantha, Gokarnshwar and Kadeshwari Manohara. However, the urban agglomeration extends well beyond the neighboring municipalities, to Bhaktapur, and nearly covers the entire Kathmandu Valley. Kathmandu is dissected by 8 rivers, the main river of the valley, the Bagmati and its tributaries, of which the Bishnamati, Dobi Kola, Manohara Kola, Hanumanti Kola, and Takucha Kola are predominant. The mountains from where these rivers originate are in the elevation range of 1,500 to 3,000 meters, 4,900 to 9,800 feet, and have passes which provide access to and from Kathmandu and its valley. An ancient canal once flowed from Nagarjuna Hill through Balaju to Kathmandu. This canal is now extinct. The city of Kathmandu and the surrounding valley are in the deciduous monsoon forest zone, altitude range of 1,200 to 2,100 meters, 3,900 to 6,900 feet. One of 5 vegetation zones defined for Nepal. The dominant tree species in this zone are oak, elm, beech, maple and others, with coniferous trees at higher altitude. Kathmandu and adjacent cities are composed of neighborhoods, which are utilized quite extensively and more familiar among locals. However, administratively the city is divided into 32 wards, numbered from 1 to 32. Earlier, there were 35 wards which made it the metropolitan city with the largest number of the wards. Bailendra Shah, Balan, has been elected as the new mayor of Kathmandu. Under Köppen's climate classification, portions of the city with lower elevations, 1300, 1400 mobile, which is 88% of total, have a humid subtropical climate, CWA, while portions of the city with higher elevations generally have a subtropical highland climate, CWB. In the Kathmandu Valley, which is representative of its valley's climate, the average summer temperature varies from 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, 82 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. The average winter temperature is 10.1 degrees Celsius, 50.2 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 major climatic regions are found in Nepal. Of these, high hills of Kathmandu Valley including Chandragiri Hill is in the warm temperate zone, elevation ranging from 1,200 to 2,300 meters, 3,900 to 7,500 feet, where the climate is fairly temperate, atypical for the region. This zone is followed by the cool temperate zone with elevation varying between 2,100 and 3,300 meters, 6,900 and 10,800 feet. The city generally has a climate with warm days followed by cool nights and mornings. Unpredictable weather is expected, given that temperatures can drop to 0 degrees Celsius 32 degrees Fahrenheit or less during the winter. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. See you in the next one.